we started to grow moringa trees a while ago for food, as you can see. So one day when I was climbing the tree, it had an injury like this one here. And I was climbing it and I felt like an electric shock, almost like an electric fence, you know, from the elephant fence or cattle fence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so really. So I had the idea, I called my electrician and we measured, and in fact, we could measure a current in the tree. Here, please, fully. You have to go in the flesh of the tree, and immediately now, that you see, I'm not joking, this tree is currently delivering 25 volts DC. So one day, Fundi and me, we took our electrical wire, so just an electrical wire, round our tree, nicely, like that, tight. Yeah, it helps if before you put your wire, you really scratch the skin of the tree, and it helps if you keep a distance between your wires. You see the scar in the tree?
Yeah.
Where the tree has those scars, that's where they produce the most of power, categorically. Yeah? So that is where you can get up to 280 volt, even AC. But lunchtime, when it requires full sun. Electrical connectors. Now we should be able to measure the current, or we can run a light bulb or a grinder, which we are going to do for you in a second. Okay? So now, of course, I have both wires on. So here, careful. You see that? This is now 220 volt DC. You can check here, there is no wires going to the tree or whatsoever. Even before we figured that in the day we can run a grinder and in the night we can run a light bulb. All our security lights here in our shop, everything here runs off these trees. Now we connect the angle grinder. Here, please connect it for me. So, now you can see it is 2 o'clock lunchtime, bright sunlight. Yeah? So we will see if we get now an angle grinder to run. Yeah. And now here, oh, this is now serious power, guys. Yeah? This is serious power. Light on. You can charge batteries and you can charge phones. Sign up! Everyone can charge their phones here for free. Yeah? From the power of the tree. That is from mornings 9 o'clock till about 6 in the evening when there is sunset.
Interesting. I want to say Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakawadash. I'm going to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Ruwell. Blessings and salutations to the whole elect. Doers in this gospel broad, living up the standard of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is, man, Lord, it's dope. This is, it's called a moringa tree. Moringa trees. I guess it contains some type of electrical current in these particular trees, and the guy is basically breaking down on how you can get free power from these particular trees, these plants, you know, these particular shrubs. And this is why we say that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is fitted in wisdom and glory and riches, because it's just things that we just never knew because we wasn't taught these things growing up in this detestable of a kingdom, man. And it makes sense now as to why Esau likes to deforest everything and build up artificial shit, because, you know, nature contains life. It contains, you know, prudence, you know. It has a certain sort of lucrativeness in nature. And nature is just beautiful. It's colorful. It's peaceful. And what I realized living under this man's rulership is that this man's enemy is peace. Okay, the scriptures say that he can't sleep unless he calls something to fall. Like, I'm always complaining about, you know, about them cutting down trees, like around where I stay at, man. Beautiful little neighborhood, you know, on a hill, little, you know, trees here, trees there, but they cut down everything. Now they're getting ready to build up. Like, this man is always building up. Like, he never lets the earth rest and do what it needs to do. You know, if he's not spraying the skies, he's cutting down trees, he's spraying insecticides, chemicals. It's just like enough is enough, man. You know, this man has to be taken out of power because clearly he's just not gonna stop. You know, I mean, look at what happened to the Amazon, the rainforest, I believe in Central or South America. I want to say roughly about 2020. They claim that he destroyed like 95% of the Amazon, and I don't know how true that is, but I do know that there was a great deal of it that was destroyed. Okay, then you got the Congo, which is it's a cross. I believe they called it like a sister rainforest or something like that, because you got the Amazon, which I believe is in South or Central America, maybe in Brazil, and then you got the Congo, which is in Africa. So you know, he wants to destroy nature in itself because, you know, it does away with the need for artificial intelligence. Like he will cut down a tree, a beautiful tree. It could be a tree that grows a lemon tree, a strawberry bush or something like that. He would cut that down just to be justified when planting a bush or artificial one that don't grow fruit, or if it grows fruit, it's GMO instead of the real thing. He'd rather have a lab grown watermelon with no seeds, no flavor, no health benefits, before he gets an actual watermelon with seeds in it that pretty much heals the body. And you see why the whole world is coming against Esau. You see, it's even getting so bad to the point that in the southern states, they're basically signing bills in play to say, look, you ain't spraying over our skies no more. No chemtrails, and on top of that, we don't want none of your M to the N to the R to the A meat. Okay, we don't want none of your juiced up milk. We don't want none of your juiced up chicken. You know, they're signing this shit and saying, look, we don't want to deal with that. And you can't really blame them, which the Lord is setting up a clear division here, you know, because the southern states and the red states, they're appearing to, you know, the conservative states, which they're demons too. I mean, they have their own nefarious purposes behind why they do shit, you know, not to benefit you Jakes for one thing, but overall, Slovakia. Fucking allergies, man. Fucking sinuses in that time of year. But but you know, you Democratic states, Chicago, New York, Delaware, Boston, California, you know, those states, they seem to have the most violence and the most thing, or the disruptions of the economies, because, you know, they let the Democrats pretty much destroy everything, you know, which it's not even a matter of Democrat and Republican. That shit is not even real. It's Esau. Okay, you got a group of Edomites that appears to oppose another group of Edomites because, you know, they want power. Okay, the Republicans want to do things their way, the Democrats want to do things their way, but it's all part of the same elite plan. Okay, so electricity from trees is, think about it, man. I mean, he's clearly proven it in the video, unless this is some type of hoax, but you can't put nothing past you. How about Shimmy Hamashai? You know, because it's common sense that trees have particular properties in them, electrical currents. I mean, they release what they call carbon monoxide, which is, you know, to help you breathe, to purify the air. So like when you spraying chemtrails and stuff like that, the trees naturally takes on the carbon and pretty much it purifies the air. But when you're overly spraying chemicals in the air, then the trees start to look dead. And this is what you've been seeing for the last decade or so, maybe 20 years. You know, if you notice it, it's not as green as they were because he's pretty much killing off the trees, because he's cloud seeding, you know, he's putting chemicals in the air, and they only could take so much before they die off, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like around our old house, we had what they call pine trees. Now, pine trees or pine cones, or we call them acorns, they have like this particular sap on it. Okay, sap is good for healing properties, you know, frankincense, you know, like stuff like that. Good cologne, you know, sap to light in the house, the aromas that heals you, you know. Pine is good for, like, they got something called pine nettle tea, which is good for respiratory. So, you know, you took some of that sap and you boiled it and you put it like in a paste or something like that, and you inhale it. It can open up those nasal cavities, man, and stuff like that. And it's good healing properties. But it was so cold-blooded because, you know, where I lived at when I was younger, we was next to a water reclamation plant. And humans are not supposed to live, that's basically like a dump. You know, all the waste and bio goes to this particular plant, and then they clean it and filter it back through the systems. You shouldn't be living within 30, 40, 50 miles of a plant like that. And we literally live probably like a half a mile from one. I mean, I could literally walk to the other side of the complex and go over the train tracks and look right at it. That's how close it was. But the Lord was so merciful because he had these pine trees. And I noticed every time I go outside and you smell that waste, that bile, the pine trees will activate. And then you have this fresh pine scent in the air. And I never really understood what it was until I got older. I'm like, oh, that was the trees. It was activated because it was a harsh chemical in the air. So, and as time progressed, they started cutting down trees around the house. You know what I'm saying? Because we had a major chemical spill, and then that's when they started cutting down the trees. And I'm like, wow, now it makes sense as to why they did it, because they wanted to kill us off, man. So, man, this man got to go, but the Lord is beautiful. What's this called? A moringa tree? Let me look that up real quick, because I never looked that up. And I've heard of them, and I'm pretty familiar with it. But, I mean, I haven't done enough research on it to really give you a definite breakdown on these things, man. So let's go here. Moringa tree. Come on. No, that's not how I spell it. Moenga, Moenga. Moringa tree. Moringa tree. I think that's what they meant, if I'm not mistaken. But Moenga, that don't really make sense. Maybe that's not what it is. But I've seen those trees before. Oh, okay. Nga. More okay. So they call it a moringa tree. Okay. So they must have spelled it wrong, because with those videos, the captions doesn't always be right. But it says Moringa oleifera is a fast-growing, drought-resistant tree, a family of Moringa. Moringaceae, native to the Indian subcontinent and used extensively in the South. Okay, what they call it, a drumstick tree. Benefits. Yep, cures wounds, pain, cures liver disease, heart disease, cancer, inflammation. It says moringa is an ancient and biblical tree of life described in the Bible book of Exodus 15 and 20. I don't know about that. I have to look more into it. But let's look this up. What trees have? Oops. Electrical currents. Can trees conduct electricity? So it says a live tree can conduct electricity. A dead tree generally does not unless it is wet, such as during a rainstorm. But it says the water in the living tree tissues are a good conductor of electricity, allowing it to travel from the branches to the ground. Wow. Which proves it's living, because, I mean, for one thing, you have what they call a spark in your body. Like when they trying to resuscitate you and they got to jump start the heart. It's like putting jumper cables on a battery of a car and you give it juice, bam. Even though that's not the most conducive way to revive somebody. But nonetheless, because it's a spark, it's spirit. So it makes sense that things that's living do contain particular currents, because, I mean, what are we with being with spiritual beings? Fire, fire energy, and electricity is nothing but concentrated fire. This is why you have what they call a temperature. But nonetheless, Yahweh Shemi Hawashai is beautiful in all his ways, man. So this is the book of Songs of Solomon 4. And I'm going to start at verses 12. It says, a garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed, and thy plants are an orchard of pomegranates and with pleasant fruits. Now he's using these particular trees as a metaphor, man, okay? Because the Songs of Solomon are actually songs, okay? Sayings. But it says their plants are orchids of pomegranates with pleasant fruits, camphire and spikenard and saffron and calamus and cinnamon, and all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes with all chief spices. So it proves that trees are for different purposes. Yeah, they're for breathing and vegetation and healing and all these things, but each tree has its own particular thing. Like you got the maple tree, You know, you got what they called, they said maple tree. You got apple plants, apple bushes. You got strawberry tree, strawberry. But you got, man, down in Puerto Rico at a point in time, they had oranges that grew on trees, man. You know, I think they got something just called, it's not called crab fruit, but it's like a crab apple or something like that. It looks like it's dead, decaying, because it got like a lot of bumps and knots and shit on it, but that's the way that it look. And apparently those have healing properties. You know, they all around here, man. This one particular location out in this little trail I go to in Kansas, they actually have a lot of those trees out there. And you just see a lot of those apples on the ground. I think like crab apples or some shit. You know, good healing properties, man. You know, and just nature itself. Nature is just, it tells a story. Like, it's nothing beautiful than nature. You know, like bird. I love waking up in the morning. I'm hearing the birds. Sometimes I see cardinals that fly on a balcony, or blue jays. And, you know, according to certain traditions and folk forests, cardinals are supposed to be a representation of angels. You know, I remember one time I was praying, you know, and cardinal sat right there on the balcony, man, you know, and we're just sitting there for a minute. It means that, you know, and they say that birds carry messages. It's something called flying kites, you know. Birds, they go tell messages, and then bam, they come back. And that's according to certain traditions. But even scriptures hinted things about birds being messengers in many ways, man. You know, you got doves, you know, you got cardinals, you got blue jays. You know what I'm saying? So it's the Lord is beautiful, man. But this devil, he's totally threw everything off frequency. You know, everything is dead. You know, everything is, there's no color, there's no life. And the little thing of life you got left, he wants to take away. You know, this is why we have to get the hell out of here, man. And this is why the kingdom is going to be so beautiful, because we ain't going to have to deal with this. You know, animals all bugged out, you know, the cats that they run from you all the time, because they're, you know, even though they're animals, they don't have sin, but their frequencies are thrown off too, because look who's in rulership. You know, animals wasn't supposed to be afraid. Well, not be afraid of Jake. I mean, of course they would be afraid, but they're not supposed to, like, literally, like, feel some type of harm from us, because, you know, we're the creator of all these things. But now you see a fucking squirrel or a cat, they just dart off from you because they think you're going to harm it. You know, even the animals are traumatized being under Esau. They know something is not right. But it says spikenard and saffron and calamus. Let me look up calamus, see what that is. Voila. So it says cinnamon, a fragrant bark used as a spice. No, that's not it. Calamus. Okay. Reed stalk bones balances a water plant. Reed, calamus. Measuring rod, shaft of a lampstand, branches, shoulder joint, but a water plant or reed. Like you got cactuses in the desert, you know, and what does cactus contain? It contains water. And it says spikenard and saffron and calamus and cinnamon and all trees of frankincense and myrrh and aloes with all chief spices, and a fountain of gardens, a well of living waters of streams of Lebanon, man. Okay, but awake, north wind, and come. Thou shalt blow upon my garden, the spices thereof may flow out, and let my beloved come to his garden and eat his pleasant fruits. You know, because in the kingdom, our gardens are going to be crazy, man. Like, it's going to be like just full of color. Like, I mean, the beets, you know, what they call the pumpkins, those are called, what do you call a potato? A potato is a starch, but it's another thing that they call is on the back of my mind, squash, like a pumpkin, you know. But let me look it up. Let me double check on that. Pumpkins, another name. Pumpkins, pumpkin family. Yeah. Pumpkin family. Okay, so what they call cucurbits. Pumpkin, squash, and gourds are all part of the, squashes. There you go. Squash, bitter melon, cucumber, melon. So just imagine how big pumpkins. Hold on, man. Give me a second. fucking work phone. Salakia, Mo. Fucking work phone ringing. I can't find it, though. Oh, well. I'll call him back. Anyway, Salakia. But, so yeah, man, just imagine how big these things are going to be in the kingdom of heaven. You know, like you got big pumpkins now. I mean, you got pumpkins that's size as bowling balls. And just imagine how big they're going to be in the kingdom. You know, it said in the ancient world, it took 2 men of some sort to carry a large cluster of grapes. So how much more, you know, when we get in the kingdom, everything is going to yield this increase. And this is why it's good to keep a land Sabbath, which Esau doesn't keep. You see? So this is the book of Sirach 24. And I'm going to start at verses 25. It says, he filleth all things with wisdom, as Pison and Tigris in a time of the new fruits, man. Okay, now, like trees, for example, that have electrical currents. People didn't know that they can harbor electricity from trees. And when you're looking at something, you look out your backyard and find these very same trees. You know, like everybody going to be going batshit crazy when the power goes out, you know. But even then, like solar power from the sun, I mean, things can electrically charge. This is why people have solar panels, man. You know, they use the solar power from the sun to get their electricity, and they're not running it through some type of switchboard or some type of grid-like structure, which Esau wants you to do because, you know, he wants to charge you for everything. You see? But other than that, man, you know, Yahweh Shemi Yahushua is beautiful in all his works. So let me look this up. Understanding. Wisdom. Deal. All thy getting. Wisdom. Oh, Proverbs 4:7, it says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Yeah. Make understanding of these things. Learn plants, you know, learn particular forms of healing yourselves, you know, because, I mean, things be coming into the time now that doctors and going to these particular witch clinics, they're going to be offline, okay? And why would you want to go there anyway? You know, like me personally, I don't really go unless I need to, unless it's like like to get checked out or something like that, you know, just to keep a healthy regimen. But I don't take their medicines, and I don't allow them to operate on me if they don't need to. None of that stuff, you know, unless you got something digestive going on, you need to know. Like if I go to them, it'll be a guide to what's going on with me. And that way I just put it into my own hands. Because like when I was suffering from I had what they called it wasn't pancreatitis. I think it was like slight pancreatitis because my amylase levels went up. I was having some digestive discomfort, you know, due to a bad antibiotic, and I had a bad probiotic, and it totally messed my gut up, man. You know, not helping the fact that, you know, brothers was drinking quite a bit years ago. You know, that shit catches up with you, but they couldn't really tell me what was going on. I'm like, okay, is it pancreatic? Is it this and this and this and this and this and that? So when I kind of find out what it was, and I mean, you know, with the help of brothers and, you know, a few sisters and stuff like that, and research and the herbs I've already known, I pretty much then got back to where I needed to be. You know, now I rarely suffer from any type of digestive issues, you know, though, you know, flare-ups come here and there, but it's just the fact that learning these herbs and putting the right things in your body to the best of your ability, you'd be surprised on what you can accomplish from that, man, okay? And this is why they want to do away with people owning gardens and stuff and knowing about these things, because they want you to remain dependent on them so you can constantly, they really want to put your ass in the spirit world. That just, it ain't no pretty way of saying it. At the end of the day, Esau just wants to kill you. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's just what it is. People may disagree. Oh, you a conspiracy theorist. Look, man, it is what it is. Esau wants to kill Jake. Okay, I don't care how you want to cut it or how you don't. This man wants to kill us. Okay, he wants nothing to do with our existence. You know? But anyway, this is just a quick lesson, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shemi Yahushai. Lord's will, you will edify into the next lesson. Shalom.